Welcome to today's Explainer. Today we're unpacking something literally mind-boggling. We're going to look at why a seemingly random calendar date, July 29th, is actually this profound pivot point for human history. I know, you might be thinking, it's just a regular day in the middle of summer. But as we look closely at the source material, we'll see that the sheer density of world-changing events landing on this exact 24-hour cycle is nothing short of incredible. So, let me ask you a question. What could the founding of America's premier space agency, a massive 16th century naval fleet, and a tiny, icy rock at the very edge of our solar system possibly have in common? I mean, these are completely unrelated historical milestones across completely different centuries and disciplines. And yet, they all share the exact same birthday, July 29th.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Here's our roadmap for today. We're going to cover the weight of a date, reaching for the stars, shifting tides of power, moments in culture, and finally, echoes in today's world. Let's get going.
Section 1. The weight of a date, a microcosm of the human experience.
When you scan thousands of years of recorded history, you start to notice patterns. And grouping history thematically like this really illustrates the duality of the date. Look at this stark contrast. On the one hand, you've got ancient devastation. July 29, 587 BC, the Neo-Babylonian Empire completely sacks Jerusalem and destroys the First Temple. But then, fast forward to that very same day in 1948, and what do we see? The Summer Olympics return in London. After a brutal 12-year hiatus caused by World War II, the world chose this exact day to unite in hopeful, peaceful competition. So you've got destruction and rebirth, sharing the exact same square on the calendar.
Moving right along to Section 2, Reaching for the Stars, Milestones in Science and Space.
Beyond human conflict and celebration, July 29th has been an absolutely massive day for scientific advancement. What's fascinating is how our journey into space literally tracks chronologically on this one single summer day. Back in 1958, President Eisenhower signs the law creating NASA. Decades later, in 1985, the Space Shuttle Challenger launches on mission STS-51F, pushing right through an engine failure to make orbit. Jump ahead to 2005, boom, astronomers discovered the dwarf planet Eris. And bringing it right up to the modern era, in 2021, the ISS had that wild moment where a misfiring Russian Nauka module temporarily spun the whole station 45 degrees out of whack, all on July 29th.
But, long before we were shooting rockets into orbit, July 29th was already a massive day for groundbreaking physics. Back in 1818, a French physicist named Augustin Fresnel submitted this prize-winning document called the Memoir on the Diffraction of Light. Now, I know that sounds super technical, but stick with me, because this fundamentally altered how we understand the universe.
So here's why it matters. Fresnel's single paper basically proved the wave theory of light. He explained exactly how light can spread into shadows, which is called diffraction, and by doing that, he essentially demolished the oldest scientific objections to the theory. Seriously, our entire modern understanding of optics, lasers, basically how light works, traces a major root right back to this one document submitted on, you guessed it, July 29th.
And the science and engineering milestones just keep stacking up. Check this out. In 1851, the asteroid 15 Eunomia is discovered. Jump to 1957, and the International Atomic Energy Agency, the IAEA, is established to oversee atomic power for the whole globe. Oh, and exactly 30 years after that, in 1987, the UK and France finally signed the massive agreement to build the Channel Tunnel under the English Channel. The sheer variety of global cooperation on this anniversary is incredible.
Okay, stepping out of the lab and onto the world stage, we've got Section 3, Shifting Tides of Power, Empires, Treaties, and Turning Points.
This date has been a massive fulcrum for geopolitical power shifts. Look at the centuries-wide spread here. 1588, English naval forces pull off a huge victory, defeating the seemingly invincible Spanish Armada off the coast of Gravelines. Fast forward to 1899, and the First Hague Convention gets signed, which literally laid down the foundational international laws of war. Then, in 1980, right after the Islamic Revolution, Iran officially adopts its new holy flag, cementing a massive shift in Middle Eastern governance and symbolism.
I mean, we are talking about entire systems of government being dismantled on this day. Take Metapolitofsi, for example. This marks a distinct historical period of political transition in Greece, and it kicked off specifically on July 29, 1973. That was the day the Greek populace voted to completely abolish the monarchy. They just changed the entire trajectory of their nation overnight.
And looking domestically in the US, it's also been a day of really severe governmental action. During the Great Depression, you had the Bonus Army, which was this large group of World War I veterans protesting in Washington, D.C. On July 29, 1932, federal troops actually dispersed those veterans using tanks, bayonets, and tear gas. It's a very stark historical reality of civil unrest and state response that happened right on this date.
Which brings us to Section 4, Moments in Culture, Triumphs and Shared Tragedies.
All right, I want you to look at this number, 750 million. Just let the sheer volume of that sink in for a second before we talk about what it actually means.
That absolutely massive number, that is the estimated worldwide television audience that tuned in simultaneously on July 29, 1981 to watch the royal wedding of Prince Charles and Lady Diana Spencer in London. Just think about that. A huge fraction of the global population literally putting their lives on pause to collectively witness one single cultural event.
But, as the source material points out, the shared human experience of July 29th isn't just celebrations. It encompasses some very dark moments, too. In 1910, the devastating Slocum Massacre began in Texas, where over 100 African Americans were murdered. Then in 1967, right in the middle of Caracas, Venezuela's 400th anniversary celebrations, a huge earthquake struck, leaving 500 dead. And much more recently, in 2024, the tragic Southport stabbings in England, where 3 children were killed, sparked widespread racially motivated riots across the UK, fueled by online misinformation.
And on that somber note, take a look at this number, 134.
134 is the staggering number of lives lost during the 1967 U.S. forest fire off the coast of North Vietnam. It happened exactly 57 years to the day before the events in Southport, and it remains the worst U.S. naval disaster since World War II. So let's sort of zoom back out and look at the global footprint of this day right now. Every single year on July 29th, communities all over the world observe these totally diverse cultural touchstones. You've got International Tiger Day promoting conservation, it's National Anthem Day in Romania, National Thai Language Day in Thailand. Over in the Faroe Islands, it's Olav Soka, which is the opening of their parliament. It's just wild how this one day holds space for so many different facets of global identity.
And that brings us to our final section, Section 5, Echoes in Today's World, Connecting the Dots to the Present.
So what does this all mean? Why does understanding the sheer density of this one date actually matter to you right now? Well, it's the butterfly effect. The modern reality we live in today is literally built squarely on the foundation of past July 29ths. Think about it. Step 1. The satellite internet, the GPS, all the space tech we rely on every day traces a direct line back to Eisenhower founding NASA in 1958. Step 2. The political borders and cultural dominances of the Western world were massively influenced by shifts like the 1588 defeat of the Spanish Armada. And Step 3. From the glasses on your face to the fiber optic cables delivering this very explainer, our foundational understanding of light completely shifted when Fresnel submitted his paper in 1818.
And that leaves us with this final, crazy thought. We have seen destruction, discovery, tragedy, and triumph all stack up on this single, seemingly random 24-hour period across centuries. If so much can change the world on just one July 29th, what history will we make on the next one? Definitely keep that in mind next time you turn the page on your calendar. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and as always, keep learning.